All right, Trooper Steve, developing this morning another major escalation when it comes to tensions between the U.S. and Iran. This time, Iran's fired a series of ballistic missiles at 2 U.S. military bases in Iraq. And now we're waiting for the military to say just how many may have been killed or hurt, and waiting to see how the president will respond. Mark Lehman's following all of this live this morning. And Mark, Iran had warned of retaliation and saying it was coming for the U.S. killing one of its top generals.
And before the attack, President Trump warned Iran that they would be hit hard if they struck American targets. Now, in just hours, the president is expected to deliver a statement. And it comes after early reports from U.S. officials indicate that there were no American casualties. This coming despite Iran's claims that soldiers were killed. This morning, Iran is claiming responsibility for a strike on 2 U.S. bases in Iraq, something Iranian state TV said was revenge for last week's killing of General Qasem Soleimani. Fars news agency in Tehran says this video shows more than a dozen missiles being fired from inside Iran. The targets, Al-Assad, northwest of Baghdad, and Erbil in northern Iraq, both housing American forces.
We're prepared to attack if we have to.
Earlier in the day, President Trump sent a warning to Iran.
If Iran does anything that they shouldn't be doing, they're going to be suffering the consequences, and very strongly.
And after the attack, lawmakers have been reacting.
Right now, we're in a defensive posture. What we don't know if this is the first of more than one wave.
I am questioning whether or not the Trump administration has a coherent strategy for what to do next.
The president tweeting late Tuesday night, assessment of casualties and damages taking place now. So far, so good. And we're expecting to learn much more about the impact of this attack and what the military's next steps will be when President Trump speaks later this morning. We will bring you those remarks live as they happen. For now, reporting live in the newsroom, Mark Lehman, News 6.
All right, Mark, thank you. Let's bring Trooper Steve back in now to give us some more insight on this. Steve, you have served at bases in Iraq. Would the soldiers there have gotten any sort of warning about an incoming threat like this?
Absolutely. You know, anytime something's coming inbound, you may not know it's been launched as just a ground or a foot soldier out in the area. As an airman, I was assigned to a few bases out in that area. You know, there is a siren. Just like tornado warnings are coming, you know, you can expect it, but you just don't know when it's going to happen. Once those were launched and within the vicinity of that airbase, I guarantee our men and women on the ground had some type of alert and were informed to seek shelter immediately.
Right. It was like overnight hours as well.
Absolutely. Really dark.
Really dark. Probably folks trying to sleep as well, service men and women out there. What about the bases themselves? Are there places where those service members can go?
Yep, right here on your screen.
This
these
is
are a few shots that I took while I was overseas, and these are scattered all over any military installation that are located in a combat zone. At any point in time, you have to be prepared to take incoming fire from the enemy. And unfortunately, last night, that's exactly what happened. And they're probably much more advanced than a few years ago when I took these.
Right.
But any servicemen or women that are located at this base, once that happens, I guarantee they were probably already walking around with their Kevlar vests, helmets ready, just in case an imminent threat presented itself. And you can see it did last night. And those men and women probably ran for those bunkers, even if they were sleeping in their buildings. That base is built pretty kind of modernized as it is over the years. A lot of these maybe bunkers were already prepared for an incoming missile, something like this. But you're right, if they were out and about, they definitely were trying to seek some shelter last night.
All right, Steve, thank you for that. Bridget, back to you.
And we'll also be watching today to see what impact the new attacks will have on Wall Street. Markets fell overseas overnight with the news. The price of oil also briefly surged to above $70 a barrel. The markets are already down because of ongoing tensions, with the Dow finishing trading yesterday down over 119 points. Of course, we'll be following all the developments in this big story throughout the day here on News 6. You can also get the latest and see reaction from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle right on the homepage at clickorlando.com.